Have you ever caught yourself wondering how many good years you might still have left? Not in a fearful way, but more like a quiet moment in the morning, sipping your coffee, and realizing every year after 70 just feels different, more precious. Like time moves a little faster and your body, in its own subtle way, whispers things to you. It's not shouting, but it's nudging. Maybe your legs don't carry you quite as fast as they used to. Maybe you're feeling a bit more tired, even after a full night's sleep. Or maybe, and this is important, maybe you still feel strong and clear-headed, and you're curious what that really says about your future. The truth is, there are signs. Real, measurable signs, not myths, not guesswork, that can give us a good idea of how our bodies are aging, and in many cases, how long we might live beyond 70. Doctors and researchers have studied people who live long, active lives, not just surviving, but thriving well into their 80s, 90s, and even past 100. And they found patterns, predictors, things that show up in the way we move, eat, sleep, and even how we connect with others. And no, it's not just about family history or fancy blood tests. Some of the most powerful indicators are surprisingly simple. In this video, we're going to walk through 7 of these signs together. We'll talk about what they mean, why they matter, and, most importantly, what you can do if one of them feels a little off in your own life. Because this isn't just about predicting the future. It's about shaping it. Let's start with something that might surprise you: how fast you walk. Yes, walking speed. Not exactly the first thing that comes to mind when you think about longevity, is it? But researchers have found that walking speed, especially after 70, is one of the strongest indicators of how well your body is holding up. It reflects your muscle strength, heart health, coordination, and even your brain function. Think about it. When you move quickly and confidently, your whole body is working in harmony. But when your steps get shorter, your pace slows, or you start feeling unsteady, it can be your body's way of saying, hey, something's not right. Take Paul, for example. He's 76 and makes it a point to walk every morning. Nothing fancy, just a good loop around the neighborhood. His posture is tall, his stride is steady, and he rarely needs to stop and catch his breath. You can see it in the way he crosses the street. No hesitation. Now compare that to Gary, who's also 75 but has slowed down over the last few years. His steps are shorter. He avoids stairs. He needs to lean on the railing more often than not. Sometimes he even feels a little lightheaded just walking across the living room. That difference matters. Because when walking gets harder, people tend to move less. And when we stop moving, everything else, strength, balance, mood, starts to slip too. But here's the good news. Walking speed is something you can work on. You can start slow. Even walking around your home for 5 minutes a few times a day makes a difference. If you can, get outside. Feel the ground under your feet. Use your muscles. Take the stairs once in a while. Do a few leg exercises while watching TV. You don't need a gym. You just need consistency. Because the faster and steadier you move now, the longer and more independently you're likely to move in the years ahead. Now, while we're talking about strength and movement, let's talk about something that might sound even stranger: your handshake. Or more specifically, your grip strength. That's right. The strength in your hands says a lot about the strength in the rest of your body. Studies have shown that grip strength is directly linked to overall muscle mass, circulation, and even how well your nervous system is functioning. When your hands start to weaken, it's usually not just your hands. It's your arms, your shoulders, your core, your legs. George is 77 and still opens jars like a champ. He's always been active. Nothing extreme, just regular activity. Lifting light weights, helping in the garden, carrying groceries instead of using a cart. All those little things add up. His grip hasn't changed much over the years. But Harold, also 77, noticed one day that he couldn't open a new bottle of water. Then a few weeks later, he struggled to carry in the groceries. He brushed it off, thought maybe he was just tired. But it kept happening. His hands didn't feel as strong. And that was just the beginning. The thing is, when your grip fades, it's not just frustrating. It can actually shorten your life. It often means muscle loss is happening throughout your body. And when that continues, people become frail. They fall more. They recover slower. It becomes harder to stay active, and that can spiral fast. But again, this is something you can change. You can strengthen your hands and arms with simple things, squeezing a tennis ball, using hand grippers, lifting light household items, even doing wrist curls with a soup can. You don't have to push yourself hard, just regularly. Keep your muscles engaged. Keep your body aware. Right now, while you're listening, check in with yourself. When was the last time you noticed your own grip strength? Is it the same as it used to be? Are you avoiding certain tasks because they feel harder than before? If so, don't wait. This isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Every little bit of strength you build today adds up to more independence, more confidence, and more years of doing the things you love on your own terms. And speaking of control, there's another thing that often goes unnoticed until it's gone: your balance. Most of us don't think about balance until we stumble. But the truth is, your ability to stand on one leg for even 10 seconds can be a powerful clue to how well your brain, muscles, and nervous system are working together. It's one of those quiet signs of longevity that can sneak up on you. Linda and Diane are both in their early 70s. Linda has always been good about staying active. She practices yoga a few times a week, goes on nature walks, even plays with her grandkids on the floor. When she stands on one leg, she holds her balance easily, sometimes with a smile. Diane, though, has a harder time. She hasn't done much physical activity in years. When she tries to lift one foot, she wobbles, reaches for a chair, and has to set her foot back down quickly. It rattles her, because she never used to feel that way. But again, this isn't about judgment. It's about awareness. If you're starting to feel less steady, that doesn't mean it's too late. It means now's the time to act. You can improve balance with small, simple exercises: standing on one leg near a counter or chair, walking heel to toe in a straight line, or gently shifting your weight from side to side. These movements wake up the brain-body connection. They build confidence. They reduce your risk of falling, which for anyone over 70 can be life-changing. You don't have to do all of this at once. Just start where you are, and trust that every effort counts. The goal isn't to become some kind of fitness champion. The goal is to keep doing the things you love for as long as possible, without fear, without limitation. So, let's take a breath. Let's check in. How's your stride these days? How steady do you feel? How strong are your hands? These aren't just passing details. They're windows into your future, and right now, you're holding the key. You've probably heard people say, sleep is the best medicine. But as we get older, sleep doesn't always come so easily, and when it doesn't, your body feels it. What many people don't realize is that the way you sleep at night can actually be a powerful indicator of how well you'll age and how long you're likely to stay healthy after 70. Sleep isn't just about getting rest. It's the time when your body repairs itself, healing damaged cells, clearing toxins from your brain, restoring your energy, balancing your hormones. When you sleep deeply and consistently, your heart beats steadier, your immune system gets stronger, and your mind stays sharper. But when sleep becomes erratic, shallow, or too short, it sends ripples through every system in your body. Let's look at two men in their mid-70s. Thomas has had a solid sleep routine for years. He goes to bed around the same time each night, gets about 7 hours, and wakes up without an alarm, refreshed, clear-headed, and ready to start his day. His mind is sharp, his mood is steady, and his body feels energized. Larry, on the other hand, struggles. He wakes up 3 or 4 times a night. Sometimes he lies awake, staring at the ceiling. Other nights, he tosses and turns, and then in the morning, he feels like he hasn't rested at all. Over time, the effects pile up: brain fog, fatigue, even mood swings and high blood pressure. But what Larry doesn't know is that this isn't just frustrating. It's a warning sign. Poor sleep in older adults is linked to a higher risk of memory loss, heart disease, even shorter life expectancy. If you've noticed your own sleep changing, maybe waking up too often, feeling restless, or just not feeling rested in the morning, don't brush it off. Your body is asking for help. The good news is, small changes can make a big difference. Start by keeping a steady sleep schedule, even on weekends. Turn off screens an hour before bed and try reading, stretching, or listening to calming music. Keep your bedroom cool and dark. Avoid heavy meals, caffeine, and alcohol late in the evening. Even a morning walk in the sunlight can help reset your internal clock and make sleep come easier at night. And while you're paying attention to how you sleep, let's talk about something just as important: your appetite. You might be surprised to learn that the way you eat, and even how much interest you have in food, is one of the strongest signals of your long-term health after 70. When you're nourishing your body well, you stay strong, energized, and better protected against illness. But when your appetite fades, or your eating habits become irregular, it's often an early clue that something deeper is going on. Take Evelyn, 73. She's always enjoyed food, and even now she looks forward to her meals. She cooks simple, balanced dishes with fresh ingredients. Nothing fancy, just real food. She maintains a steady weight, feels alert during the day, and rarely gets sick. Her love of food is helping her stay well. Betty, on the other hand, used to be the same way. But over the past year, things changed. She started skipping meals, not because she was trying to, she just didn't feel hungry. She'd grab a snack instead of a meal, drink coffee instead of eating breakfast, and some days she'd forget to eat altogether. She lost weight without meaning to. And along with that came fatigue, muscle weakness, and a general feeling of disinterest. What she didn't realize was that her appetite, or the loss of it, was telling her something important. In older adults, appetite loss can be linked to many things: slower digestion, hormonal shifts, medication side effects, or even the early stages of cognitive decline. And when your body isn't getting the nutrients it needs, it starts to break down muscle for energy. That can lead to frailty, falls, and longer recovery times from illness or injury. Even your immune system and brain function start to take a hit. If you've noticed yourself eating less, feeling full quickly, or losing interest in meals, it's not just a personal quirk. It might be time to take a closer look. Start with small, nourishing meals throughout the day. Think protein, fiber, healthy fats, simple, real foods. Drink plenty of water because dehydration can also make you feel less hungry. And try making meals more enjoyable. Eat with a friend, listen to music while you cook, or try out a new recipe. You'd be surprised how much joy can come back when you make food something to look forward to again. And while we're talking about how we react to things, there's one more sign that tells us a lot about our future health. And it's not something you can see in the mirror or feel in your hands. It's how you handle stress. Because after 70, the way you manage life's ups and downs can quietly shape your entire aging experience. Stress, especially the kind that lingers in the background, isn't just emotional. It's deeply physical. Chronic stress raises your blood pressure, weakens your immune system, accelerates aging in your cells, and increases your risk of heart problems, strokes, and even cognitive decline. But those who learn to face stress calmly, with resilience and perspective, tend to age with more ease and live longer, healthier lives. Let me introduce you to two men, Edward and Albert, both 76. They've both had their share of hardships. Medical bills, family struggles, uncertainty about the future. But they handle things very differently. Edward has trained himself to pause, breathe, and respond rather than react. He takes daily walks, practices mindfulness, and talks things through with his wife and close friends. He doesn't carry every burden alone, and he doesn't let every problem become a crisis. Albert, meanwhile, keeps things inside. He worries a lot, sometimes over small things. He replays conversations in his head, lies awake at night with what-ifs, and doesn't always know how to let go of stress. Over time, it's taken a toll. He's more tired, more irritable, and more frequently ill. He thinks he's just unlucky, but in truth, his stress response is quietly wearing him down. We all experience stress. The key difference is how we respond. Do we breathe through it, or do we let it own us? Do we talk to someone, or shut down? The beautiful thing is, it's never too late to learn new ways to cope. Deep breathing, prayer, gentle stretching, journaling, or simply sitting outside for a few quiet minutes can do wonders. And more than anything, connection matters. Having people to talk to, even just one person, helps lighten the load. Now pause for a moment and ask yourself, how are you sleeping? Are you nourishing your body with food that gives you strength? And when life throws challenges your way, as it always does, how are you responding? These signs aren't just reflections of where you are right now. They're predictors of where you're headed. What you do with this information, the small changes, the tiny shifts, can make all the difference. This isn't about chasing youth. It's about living with strength, with clarity, and with joy, for as many years as life gives you. There's one final sign, and in many ways, it might be the most powerful of them all. It's not something your doctor can measure with a stethoscope or a scan. It's something deeper, something human. And that's the strength of your relationships, your connection to others. We often think of aging as a solo journey, but the truth is, we are not built to walk through life alone. After 70, your social world can quietly become a lifeline or a warning sign. Decades of research confirm it. People who stay socially connected through friendships, family, community, even casual conversation, not only live longer, but they live better. They stay sharper, recover faster, and report feeling more satisfied with life. On the other hand, isolation and loneliness, even if no one else knows about them, can chip away at your health just as surely as high blood pressure or diabetes. Helen, at 78, knows this instinctively. Every week, she makes time to connect. Whether it's a quick call with her sister, a lunch with her neighbors, or volunteering at the local church pantry. She doesn't see it as something extra. She sees it as essential. And it shows. Her energy, her smile, the way she listens when someone speaks, there's a glow about her. She's alive in more than just the physical sense. Ruth, also 78, once had that spark too. But after her husband passed and her close circle grew smaller, the silence around her started to stretch. Calls became less frequent. Invitations stopped coming. And over time, she began to assume people were too busy. So she stopped reaching out. She filled her days with television, the same routines, and long stretches of quiet. What she didn't realize was that her loneliness was slowly working against her health, affecting her sleep, her mood, her immune system, even her memory. Not because she was weak, but because she was human. We all need connection. Not just big gatherings or holiday visits, but simple, meaningful moments. A shared laugh, a story told over coffee, a neighbor who waves from their porch. These aren't small things. They're the threads that keep our spirit alive. If you've been pulling away or if the world has grown quieter than you'd like, I want you to know this. It is never too late to reconnect. Never too late to pick up the phone, send a message, join a local group, say hello to the person next to you at the store. Someone out there is hoping for connection just as much as you are. And you, yes you, have so much still to give. So now, as we close this chapter together, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've shared. We talked about walking speed, how something as simple as your stride can reveal how strong and resilient your body truly is. We explored grip strength, That firm handshake that says more about your inner health than you might expect. We looked at balance, your ability to stay steady on your feet and in your life. We discussed sleep, the quiet healer that rebuilds you each night. We touched on appetite, not just what you eat, but the life force behind your meals. We looked at stress, the invisible weight you carry, and how to gently begin putting it down. And now, we've seen how your relationships, those beautiful human bonds, can keep you living longer and with more meaning. These are not just signs. They are invitations. Each one is asking you to look, to listen, and to love yourself enough to make a small shift today. Not all at once. Just one step, one effort. Because the truth is, aging doesn't have to mean decline. It can mean clarity, freedom, a deeper joy. But only if you take care of the vessel that carries you. So ask yourself, what spoke to you most today? Was it something you want to improve? Something you already feel proud of? Let us know in the comments. Share your story. You never know who might read your words and feel a little less alone, a little more inspired. If this video brought value to your life, please give it a thumbs up. That simple gesture helps more people find content that can truly help them. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. We're here every week, bringing you real, honest, and practical content to help you live stronger, longer, and with more peace in your heart. Thank you, truly, for spending this time with me. You could have watched anything, but you chose to be here. That means something. I hope you carry these insights with you, not as rules, but as tools. Gentle reminders that you are still in charge of your health, your joy, your journey. Here's to walking steady, to holding on strong, to laughing deeply, and to living your best life at any age. We'll see you in the next video.